They accused the company of facilitating a culture of rampant sexual harassment. The women said they were consistently subjected to catcalling, unwanted advances, unwanted touching, and discrimination while at work. I was so tired of the unwanted attention and the males gawking at me, I proceeded to create barriers around me just so I could get some relief, Brooks told the Washington Post. That was something I felt necessary just so I can do my job. Stories range from intimate groping to being called out to the parking lot for sex. 130. Women feared calling human resources for help as their supervisors were often participants. 131. Musk himself is not indicted, but most of the women pressing charges believe their abuse is connected to the behavior of CEO Elon Musk. They cite his crude remarks about women's bodies, wisecracks about starting a university that abbreviated to T.it.s, and his generally dismissive attitude towards reporting sexual harassment. 132. What we're addressing for each of the lawsuits is just a shocking pattern of rampant harassment that exists at Tesla, said attorney David Allo. 131. In 2017, another woman had accused Tesla of very similar behavior and was subsequently fired. In a statement to The Guardian, Tesla confirmed its company had fired her, saying it had thoroughly investigated the employee's allegations with the help of a neutral, third-party expert and concluded her complaints were unmerited. 133. In May 2022, a California judge ruled that the sexual harassment lawsuit could move to court, rejecting Tesla's request for closed-door arbitration. 134. Labor disputes. From 2014 to 2018, Tesla's Fremont factory had 3 times as many Occupational Safety and Health Administration (OSHA) violations as the 10 largest U.S. auto plants combined. 135. An investigation by the Reveal podcast alleged that Tesla failed to report some of its serious injuries on legally mandated reports to downplay the extent of injuries. 136. In September 2019, a California judge ruled that 12 actions in 2017 and 2018 by Musk and other Tesla executives violated labor laws because they sabotaged employee attempts to unionize. 137. 138. The California Civil Rights Department filed a suit in 2022 alleging a pattern of racial harassment and bias at the Tesla Fremont factory. As of April 2023, the department is also conducting a probe of the factory based on a 2021 complaint and claims that Tesla has been obstructing the investigation. 139. Environmental violations. In 2019, the United States Environmental Protection Agency fined Tesla for hazardous waste violations that occurred in 2017. 140. In June 2019, Tesla began negotiating penalties for 19 environmental violations from the Bay Area Air Quality Management District. Winking sad smiley. 141. The violations took place around Tesla Fremont's paint shop, where there had been at least 4 fires between 2014 and 2019. 142. Environmental violations and permit deviations at Tesla's Fremont factory increased from 2018 to 2019 with the production ramp of Model 3. 143. The EPA found that Tesla allowed hazardous waste to accumulate on site without a permit beyond the allowed 90 days. Failed to promptly clean up flammable paint and or solvent mixtures, left 255 US gallon, 210 L containers of hazardous waste open with no gasket or locking mechanism, and violated air emission standards for 3 leaky transmission lines that the waste moved through. 144. Racism. Tesla has faced numerous complaints regarding workplace harassment and racial discrimination. 145, 146, with one former Tesla worker who attempted to sue the employer, describing it as a hotbed of racist behavior. 147, approximately 100 former employees have submitted signed statements alleging that Tesla discriminates specifically against African Americans and allows a racist environment in its factories. 148, according to the state's Department of Fair Employment and Housing, the Fremont factory is a racially segregated place where black employees claim they are given the most menial, 149, and physically demanding work. 150. The accusations of racism culminated in February 2022 with the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing suing Tesla for discriminating against its black workers. 151. In July 2021, former employee Melvin Berry received $1 million in his discrimination case in arbitration against Tesla after he claimed he was referred to by the N-word and forced to work longer hours at the Fremont plant. 152. In October 2021, a jury verdict in the Owen Diaz vs. Tesla trial awarded the plaintiff $137 million in damages after he had faced racial harassment at Tesla's Fremont facility during 2015-2016. 153, 154. In a blog, Tesla stressed that Diaz was never really a Tesla worker, and that most utterings of the N-word were expressed in a friendly manner. 155, 156. In April 2022, federal judge William Orrick upheld the jury finding of Tesla's liability but reduced the total damage down to $15 million. 157. Diaz was given a 2-week deadline to decide if he would collect the damages. In June 2022, Diaz announced that he would be rejecting the $15 million award, opening the door for a new trial. 158. In April 2023, Diaz was awarded $3.2 million in the new trial. 159. Few of these cases against Tesla ever make it to trial, as most employees are made to sign arbitration agreements. 160. Employees are afterwards required to resolve such disputes out of court, and behind closed doors. COVID-19 pandemic. Tesla's initial response to the COVID-19 pandemic in the United States has been the subject of considerable criticism. Musk had sought to exempt the Tesla Fremont factory in Alameda County, California from the government's stay-at-home orders. In an earnings call in April, he was heard calling the public health orders fascist. 161. He had also called the public's response to the pandemic dumb and had said online that there would be 0 cases by April. 162. In May 2020, while Alameda County officials were negotiating with the company to reopen the Fremont factory on the 18th, Musk defied local government orders by restarting production on the 11th. 163, 164, 165. Tesla also sued Alameda County questioning the legality of the orders, but backed down after the Fremont factory was given approval to reopen. 166, 167. In June 2020, Tesla published a detailed plan for bringing employees back to work and keeping them safe. 168. However, some employees still expressed concern for their health. 169. In May 2020, Musk told workers that they could stay home if they felt uncomfortable coming back to work. 170. But in June, Tesla fired an employee who criticized the company for taking inadequate safety measures to protect workers from the coronavirus at the Fremont factory. 171. 3 more employees at Tesla's Fremont factory claimed they were fired for staying home out of fear of catching COVID-19. This was subsequently denied by Tesla, which even stated that the employees were still on the payroll. 172. COVID-19 cases at the factory grew from 10 in May 2020 to 125 in December 2020, with about 450 total cases in that time period out of the approximately 10,000 workers at the plant, 4.5%. 161. 173. Safety incidents. In November 2013 there was an accident when the low-pressure aluminum casting press failed, spilling molten metal on 3 workers and causing their clothing to catch fire. Tesla was fined $89,000 by the California Division of Occupational Safety and Health for 7 safety violations, 6 considered serious. 174. See also. List.
Good. Let's stop and delete. So just read the next one.